Deep in the heart of Southeast Asia lies Malaysia, a country comprising 13 states and 2 federal territories, each with its own distinct identity and system of governance. The states are divided into monarchies, with hereditary rulers, and federal territories, directly administered by the federal government. The governance of the states is divided between the federal government and the state governments, with the federal territories being directly administered by the federal government. The Malay Peninsula is home to 11 states, collectively known as Peninsular Malaysia or West Malaysia, while the remaining 2 states, Sabah and Sarawak, are located on the island of Borneo, and are collectively referred to as East Malaysia or Malaysian Borneo. Out of the 13 states in Malaysia, 9 are monarchies, each with a hereditary ruler as the titular head of state and an executive chief minister or menteri besar as the politically responsible head of government. The 9th schedule of the Constitution of Malaysia outlines the specific responsibilities of the federal and state governments. While theoretically, the individual states have the power to legislate on any matter not set out in the 9th schedule, in practice, the courts have generally favored a broad interpretation of the language of the 9th schedule, limiting the number of possible subjects not covered. The rulers of the Malay states hold significant powers, with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, the federal head of state, elected among the 9 rulers to serve a 5-year term. The states of Sabah and Sarawak have greater autonomy than those on the peninsula, with additional powers over immigration controls and unique residency status. Each state has a unicameral legislature, called the Dewan Undangan Negeri, DUN, with members elected from single-member constituencies drawn based on population. The state leader of the majority party in DUN is usually appointed chief minister by the ruler or governor. The Parliament of Malaysia has the power to legislate on issues of land, Islamic religion, and local government, to provide for a uniform law between different states, or on the request of the state assembly concerned. The law in question must also be passed by the state assembly as well, except in certain circumstances. The federal territories, Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, and Labuan, were formed for different purposes, and fall under the purview of the Ministry of the Federal Territories. Each territory elects representatives to the Dewan Rakyat, the lower house of the federal parliament, and the Yang di-Pertuan Agong appoints senators to represent the territories in the Dewan Negara. The local governments for the territories vary, with Kuala Lumpur administered by the Kuala Lumpur City Hall, Putrajaya by the Putrajaya Corporation, and Labuan by the Labuan Corporation. The states of Sabah and Sarawak merged with the existing states of the Federation of Malaya and Singapore in 1963, to form the independent state of Malaysia. However, they retained a higher degree of autonomy in areas such as immigration, state revenue, and legislative power over land and local government. Singapore was a Malaysian state from 1963 until it was expelled from the Federation in 1965. Brunei was invited to join the Federation but decided not to, due to several issues, including the status of the Sultan within Malaysia and division of Bruneian oil royalties.